I've already told you the story of my grandfather's cabin, but I haven't told you all of it. In light of current events, I feel it is time to tell you the remainder of the story. If you have been watching, then you will know the influence my grandfather had on me and this current project. And as you will soon find out, many who have helped with Alaska Log Cabin spent many summers with me at my grandfather's cabin. But if you are just tuning in, then let me help you get caught up. In the 50s, a group of men, including my grandfather, staked a gold claim deep in the mountains of the Northern Cascades. They were driven partly by gold, but this group of men of the greatest generation had endured the Great Depression and World War II. So their story was also one of companionship and release. Like many coming out of the stressful times of the 30s and 40s, this was a way of sharing, building camaraderie, and finding relief from the stresses of an earlier time. This was accomplished by working together, clearing land with horses and manpower, stripping trees into lodge poles, and erecting a cabin. Some of our nation's returning vets found this by forming biker clubs, some at the bottom of a bottle. These men found it together, deep in the wilderness. So growing up, my grandfather and his cabin played a huge role in my life. It's interesting looking back now to see how my generation was going to find in this place what they had found 50 years earlier. Like those before us, Mike, John, and I have all served, and I can honestly tell you that combat has taken a toll. In a sick sort of way, you can actually start to crave being over there. Not so much the place itself, but the camaraderie, kinship, and brotherhood that is difficult to find in today's society. But you still must take a break and relax, reflect, and recharge. That is what a trip to Grandpa's cabin became for us. We realized the importance of therapy, cabin therapy. But our group of friends had been finding it here all along, since our early 20s. It became more evident to us, though, after multiple deployments into combat zones. This place had been, and especially after 9/11, our place to reconnect, bond, and share. It was our haven. All of ours. Blessed be In this place, we forged stronger friendships. We also ate well, hobo dinners over open flame, before a yearly match of junta. We'd add our names to the rafters, like those before us. This was cabin therapy. So you can imagine our surprise to find a sign nailed to my grandpa's cabin that last year we arrived. It was actually more than surprise. It was a sense of betrayal. I visited the Methow Valley District Ranger to plead our case. He told me the previous ranger had stuck their neck out by allowing us use after the BLM had taken it away. Stuck their neck out? What do you mean? Like this? The Methow Valley Ranger has a much different idea of what service and sacrifice actually looks like than we have, because I failed to see the great risk in handing out special use permits or kowtowing to special interest groups. And I see no merit whatsoever hiding behind bureaucracy in the burning down of a family's legacy. This is taking place across the country, including the great state of Alaska. Is there any wonder why the people are angry? Seeing this anger in me, my grandmother tells me to build my own cabin. But a search for property near my grandfather's old cabin reveals yet another frustration. And that is that the rich are the only ones who can afford it. Bureaucracy and the rich, the major factors fueling the anti-establishment movement. But then I remember the 5 acres I found while flying tours in Alaska around Denali. And as luck would have it, the rich have not yet tainted the last frontier. We have a view that is unmatched anywhere in the lower 48, only 40 miles from the summit. From here, we will follow my grandmother's advice and build our own cabin. So now you know the rest of the story. This was the inspiration behind the creation of Alaska Log Cabin. As I'm sure you have noticed, we are creating something special in Alaska. The same group of friends and many more have joined the project. Together we are finding what Grandpa's generation found, that building a cabin and doing so with those close to you is good for the soul.